My name's Mark, aka The Canardian, and this is episode 57 of the Holocron Chronicles. I'm usually joined by my trusty co-pilot Charlie, but he is off gallivanting across the seven seas on a cruise for a franchise that he usually mentions, but I'm going to try not to mention this whole episode. But it starts with the same word as the show we're going to, focus on here, Star, and then the other one, he's trekking through some stuff. So there we go. Charlie, we miss you, but I am joined by a fantastic guest, and that is Mr. Moshe, aka TheDripJedi. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Glad to be here. What's up, yo?
Excellent. Super happy to have you. I'm glad this kind of all worked out. The timing and everything worked out. We've been chatting a little bit
Oh yeah, it's
back and forth, but
pretty chill.
yeah. Excellent. We're going to get into your Star Wars origin story, but first off, I do have to give a little Patreon shout out. Our Patreon keeps growing. It's awesome. We have 10 patrons signed up so far. And of course, I have to always thank our BFFs, Missy Merchant, Sean, Henry, and Stella Nias. You guys are just the absolute best. I have to thank our best buds, and I'm going to give a shout out to the friends with benefits as well. So Jamie Prinkley, Brennan Myers, John Sadorf, and the Phoenix Sisters cosplay. I know I've thanked a few of you before, but I'm going to again. And our newest patron joining the friend zone, and that is Francie. So thank you all so much for your support, for your continued support. It is awesome to see. And if you want to check out our exclusive Patreon only shows, that's the place to do it. You've got stuff, and I'm going to record one. Depending on what time we finish tonight, I'm going to record one about the new Pokemon presentation, the Pokemon Direct that happened today. If I don't get to it tonight, it's going to go up tomorrow. But there's some Pokemon stuff that I want to talk about, and it's an off week for my video game show. So here we go. You're getting Star Wars and video games from me in 1 week if you're a Patreon subscriber. So check it out over there, patreon.com/secretfriendsunite, and throw a little dollar in the tip jar, and out pops content. So there we go. With that said, with that out of the way, please go subscribe over on YouTube and all that kind of fun stuff. But that's enough of the pluggity plugs. I want to find out a little
That's
bit
all
more
good.
about.
Gotta get the shout outs out,
Yeah, exactly. You gotta keep the lights on, right? But I want to find out about you, Moshe. Let's find out about your Star Wars origin story. First off, tell people kind of what you do on the internet with your content and that kind of stuff.
It's real simple. I like Star Wars, like a lot of us. My main thing I love, is, of course, is lightsabers. You can see I got my lightsabers finally on my wall. They were in my corner.
Yes.
But most of my content is basically lightsabers. I like to, do lightsaber spins, choreography, flow. I like to duel my brother sometimes because he has his own TikTok. He does Star Wars too, and we do lightsabers basically. And it all started. I want to say it was. Let me see. This is 2023. It was the end of 2020, 2021. It was Christmas time.
Wow.
And our mom had got us some gifts, Christmas gifts. And, some Christmases, it's not a lot, we don't get a lot of things, times are tough, that kind of stuff. But our mom's the kind of mom that's like, you know what, I'm going to get y'all something, And she threw in, it was a toy lightsaber, like the flick out toys. Matter of fact,
Yep.
I'll show you. And this is it right here.
Nice.
I know it's cheesy. It's a Darth Vader. It flicks out. It's not really exciting, but that's what I had. And I was at college at the time. I was going to community college down the street from my house. And I had signed up for the Pell Grant or whatever, and I got my money or whatever. And I used that to buy my very first laptop, which is what I'm using right now. And I taught myself a few visual effects, if you want to call it. I learned how to add a lightsaber blade onto like an object,
right on.
which of course is this. So when I would do my videos, I would add a blade on here, and it would look like a real lightsaber. And that's how I started, TikTok, of course. And at first I was just posting random videos like transitions, outfit stuff, because I like outfits and clothes, of course. That's my username. And I started doing that, but then I quit for a while because it just got tedious because it was a lot of editing, and I was real small at the time. I kind of still am, but I didn't have enough views, and I was like, this isn't it. You know what? I got to get a real saber. So I went and bought my
Mm.
very first RGB lightsaber, which is actually right here. This is it. It's broken though,
Nice. That's the
because I
first. Yeah.
broke
All
it.
right.
But this is my first ever hilt right here,
Just
and it came from
you got to throw in that little
AliExpress.
spin too while you're talking.
This is
Man, it's so smooth.
I have my drumming skills to thank for that. but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I got this off AliExpress. It's a good site for beginners. It's not bad. Some people might say it's
Yep.
bad, but it depends on what you want. And I got this one, and I started really growing at that. After that, I met a lot of creators, a lot of mutuals, that kind of stuff. And at the time, I used TikTok as like a way to escape reality because I was going through a really, really rough time at the time, and I still kind of am. Me and my brother, our dad, he was sick. He had cancer. So we used TikTok as a way to kind of like cope with what's going on, and we still do actually. So and then I got my Xenopixel lightsabers, which is right on there on the wall. Can't really tell though unless it's on, of course. And we
Mm-hmm.
just kind of went from there. Honestly, we grew, we learned trends, we met so many people, and this is where I belong now.
That's good. You're turning
That's the
something
short story, I guess.
turning something negative into a positive. I've had enough experiences with sickness and that kind of stuff in family members and stuff in the past. I know it can be really tough to get through. So um, it's good that you turned it into something positive and something that you're using to kind of
Yeah, I
grow
mean,
and meet new people
I'm gonna try to
and
be as positive as possible. Everything I post, if I
good
do a
deal.
trend, I see someone else do, I always give them credit. I see someone, I'd always love to leave a comment, positive comment, uplift everyone. You'll ask anyone. I'm probably one of the most positive people on Star Wars TikTok. There's no reason to be negative.
That's kind
It's
of
a toxic
what
fandom anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of what like drew me to your stuff, to be honest, because I'm a pretty positive, podcaster and pretty positive Star Wars fan, and I try to seek those people out who are kind of in a similar mindset, and we've
Yeah,
covered every single movie, every single show, all that kind of stuff on this podcast, and I always try to find someone like if we're covering the Phantom Menace and if like that's not my favorite movie, I want to find someone that absolutely freaking loves the Phantom Menace. And I like for Star Wars for me is like it's like pizza. It's like even a not so great pizza is still like awesome because it's pizza. So
yeah.
like I want to find that kind of energy. And like you could tell right away, like seeing your stuff, it was just like that same vibe. So it was it's coming across in the videos. It's pretty awesome to see. And like you said,
Oh
it
yeah.
can be pretty negative fandom
Yeah,
kind of
it's
stuff with
very.
Star Wars. It's easy to
I've
go.
experienced my own fair share of comments. Racist
Yeah,
comments, hate comments, all that kind of stuff. But gotta just let that wash over you.
that's it. That's it. It's good to hear that you
And
can. A
and
lot
when
of
you have
it
friends that
becomes a lot.
support you, it doesn't really affect you.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
You know,
I gotta. So 2021, you got your first or 20. What'd you say? 2020,
it was the end of
21,
2021. It was December. It was
end
the
of
end of it.
21. Wow,
We got this
and that was it.
lookout saber for Christmas.
And that's just.
Just a gift, I guess. And I
So did you
somehow turned that
always
into content.
did you always like Star Wars, or was it just like a
Yes,
random lightsaber? Like
I've
when did
always
you get
loved
into
Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Now I've got into Star Wars. Believe it or not, the Star Wars page, they're on TikTok now. I was one of
Yep,
their very first followers. Not to brag or nothing,
nice,
but I was doing a live one
it's
day.
bragworthy.
Yeah, I was I was doing a live one day, and they asked the same question. They jumped on my live. I have it on my TikTok, but
Nice,
I'll explain it again. But
yeah.
yeah, me and my brother, we've always loved Star Wars since we were little, but we didn't love it when the prequels came out and when it was real popping and famous. Like I
Mm-hmm.
forget what year Revenge of the Sith came out. I think it was 2005. 2005, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And I was in elementary school, and that's when it came out. My friends at the time, they had threw a birthday party Revenge of Sith theme, and they invited me to it, but I didn't know what the heck Star Wars was, so I was like, no, I don't think I'm gonna go. And they was like, why didn't you go? We missed you. Where was you at? I was like, I didn't know Star Wars, but fast forward years later, the Clone Wars came out on Cartoon Network, and that was what drew me to Star Wars because of I see
Wow.
Ahsoka. I saw Ahsoka duel Grievous, Luminara duel Asajj Ventress. The lightsabers was what drew me,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, this is pretty cool. I like this, so I started watching more of it, and that's when I learned they had the movies. The prequels, the originals, and I watched the prequels and then the originals, and then it went from there. I played the video games. I,
Oh,
bought the merch, well, not the Sabers, because I bought the Sabers when I started TikTok. But yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. And when
wow.
you play the video games and all that other stuff, that's when you, kind of draw more to it. I played the Force Unleashed, the Star Wars: The Old Republic. I still play that to this day.
Nice.
They follow me too, the Star Wars: Old Republic page.
Sick. Wow.
Yep,
That's
yep.
I think you're the first person that said you got in with the Clone Wars. I know like a lot of people come on and say like, they started with the movies and then once they saw the Clone Wars, like that was really it. But like that's your entry point. That's such a
Yeah, that
unique
was
entry
mine.
point.
Was
But
the Clone
like
Wars?
that's amazing. But like to your point though, there are some badass lightsaber battles and just like stuff to like
Yes,
I love lightsabers and stuff too. Like that's to me, like that's what sets Star Wars above anything else. Like you can always have spaceships, you can always have aliens, this, but it's like the lightsaber, the Jedi, like that's the difference for me of
absolutely.
why like Star Wars is so, I don't know, ingrained in my head. And yeah, the Clone Wars really like turn that up a notch, especially
Clone
even like
Wars
the
is goated.
last like yeah, amazing.
Yeah, last season.
So is that your favorite? Is Clone Wars still your favorite thing, or what's your favorite like movie show thing
My
of
favorite
Star
show,
Wars? Like,
yeah, is the Clone Wars. I love Rebels too, but it's definitely the Clone Wars first. It goes Clone Wars, Rebels, and then all the others because I don't really watch anything other than those two. But my
all
favorite
right,
movie, every time I get asked this, I always say it's between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. It's like right there. I
nice.
love Revenge of the
Wow,
Sith, but I also love Attack of
hmm
the Clones because hey, there's more lightsabers. Now the
true,
Phantom Menace is
true.
cool, but it wasn't my favorite. If I'm be honest, it wasn't enough sabers for me. If you can't tell,
Man, I
y'all, I love
remember like
lightsabers.
the first time I saw Ray Park's double bladed lightsaber, I lost my mind. Like Darth
Mm,
Maul's, like that was like because like growing up, like it was just the originals, right? Like that was it. I had like my
right.
aunt had them on VHS. Like I borrowed those. I never saw one in a theater until the prequels came out. But I was like, lightsabers were and up until like kind of Luke, but even though like Luke flipping around the desert, like Return of the Jedi, like that was a little bit faster, but like most of the lightsaber stuff in the originals is kind of slow. So like seeing that kind of like, they're flipping, they're doing this and doing that, and then like, he
Right.
pops out the second blade and it's like, what is this? Lightsabers can be more than just like kind of a stick. Um, and lightsabers are better than a stick. You can ask Alan from Level Up
Master
Sabers,
Allen. Yep.
affiliate link in the show notes.
He's a mutual of mine. He's
Um,
awesome.
it's he's great. He's amazing. We've had him on the show before. He's got to come back soon. Um,
Oh yeah.
Alan, yeah, awesome. But yeah, man, just some fantastic stuff. Favorite character? I'm kind of curious about this one. I'm guessing it's going to be a lightsaber duelist.
Obviously. See, when
All
I go
right.
live on TikTok, I always get access. So I'll say it again. My favorite character is always gonna be Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka
Nice.
Tano. I also love Cal Kestis.
Oh
A lot of
hell yeah.
people tell me I can pull. Yeah, I have videos of me doing his moves perfectly from the game. That's my other thing is that's my content. Well,
Yeah.
some of my content is I like to do like the movement of Jedi and Sith if I can do it like as much as accurate as possible. I did one
hmm
video of like the moves from the Fallen Order, and then everyone was like, "You could pull off Cal Kestis. You should cosplay as him." I'm like, maybe someday. So I love Cal Kestis, and the last character I know you said pick a favorite, but it's always these three.
Yeah, no.
But the last character, he's an underrated Jedi from the season one of Clone Wars. Y'all might know him. Kit Fisto's old Padawan, Matt
Okay.
Arbeb.
All
I always
right.
liked him because first of all, I love
Nice.
his lightsaber. One thing about me, my
Mm.
favorite design of his lightsaber is the vertical hand grips that go down the hilt. That's how his looks.
Yep.
So I like,
Nice.
yeah, and I was like, I like him. And his character is how I would be as a Jedi.
Mm.
And as far as Sith go, because people ask me, see, I get asked favorite character, favorite Jedi, favorite Sith, and I'm just like,
Mm.
favorite character, Padme, favorite Jedi, those three I mentioned, and then favorite Sith, Darth Malgus. Then they'd be like, that's
All
not
right.
canon. Yeah, well, he's Star Wars, so I say Malgus.
I think that still counts. We've had answers from Legends, canon. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite. It's your favorite. That's all good.
And I
I
don't like
just I did
Sidious,
a
but I like his lightsaber.
yeah. My
Hmm.
favorite lightsaber. I just did we were talking about Patreon earlier. I did a Patreon exclusive video and episode about Gunji and his lightsaber. So if
Yes,
you're
Gunji.
not a Patreon member, you didn't hear that one, but that is my favorite, like one of my favorite lightsaber designs with the wood. It's such a
The
unique
Brylock tree.
lightsaber, brother. So when I designed my saber at Galaxy's Edge, you can kind of see it behind me on the table there. That has a
Mm-hmm.
Rancor tooth for Tenel Ka from the Jedi Academy books, and the rest is Brylark tree wood, which is directly inspired. As soon as I saw that at Galaxy's Edge in Disney World, I was like, "That's the one, Gunji. Let's go." So
There you go.
that's my lightsaber design of choice. So I did like a whole breakdown about like Brylark wood and all that kind of stuff in that Patreon. If you're curious, go check that out. I might kind
I'll
of
definitely
release that
check it
now that
out.
it's a couple of weeks ago. I might release that just to the public so you don't have to like actually subscribe to do it. But I'm like, I don't know. I'll see what happens. I'm like convincing people not to spend
There you
money
go.
on the Patreon, but there anyway, whatever. Lightsaber. Actually, first off, let's go light side or dark side. I'm thinking I know the answer to this one, but people have surprised me before. If you had force powers, what way would you lean?
Shoot. That's if I had actual force powers. I'm always a
Yep.
Jedi at heart. I wouldn't really be a
Good.
Sith, to be
Okay.
honest. I'm a Jedi. That's my username. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That's
curious
kind
how
of what I
Force
figured.
Lightning would be, honestly.
That's every
Force
single
Lightning.
time. Every single time. That's
Because
the answer.
because going back to my thing with, my visual effects, how I used to make the lightsaber blade, I also know how to do Force Lightning.
Mm.
So if you've seen it on my story, I think you've seen it on my story on Instagram. I can do Force Lightning. I might need to
Yeah.
bring that one back. But if I was to be a Jedi for real, I'm Jedi.
All right. That's an acceptable answer. I think that the force light, but like Rey showed that you can still have force lightning powers and be good. Although she kind of thought she blew up Chewie, so maybe not the best.
Yeah.
But
I got to rewatch the
like
sequels.
you gotta, yeah. I like your answer. I figure with the Drip Jedi is your name, like that's going to be the answer.
Hmm.
This might be an interesting one though. Lightsaber color of choice. If you woke up tomorrow, they said, "Here's a real lightsaber." What color do you think your crystal would turn?
That's easy. Purple.
Purple. All right. Love it. Very unique.
That's right
There
here.
we go. All right.
I should have just
Perfect.
said. I
You
should have
had
just
that
said
queued
easy
up
and then
and
told
ready
it
to go.
purple.
that was
But yeah,
spot on.
purple. But you know what? If I
Amazing.
was in Star Wars for real, Mace Windu has purple. So if I was in Star Wars, then I could take blue.
All right.
That's my second favorite.
All right. See, I like the purple answer because that's very much in keeping with kind of like the canon or one of the accepted explanations of why Mace has a purple lightsaber is because he toys with the dark side a little bit. His fighting
Just a little.
style is inching that way close. He's the only one that can do that without going to the dark side, but that's why his lightsaber's purple. So your temptation to be like, I kind of want to mess around with force lightning, that might turn that blue into some purple. I
There
could
you
see you
go.
rocking the purple lightsaber. That's
You know
that's
what
a
we're
good
talking about
explanation.
lightsabers. Let me grab it.
All right.
I guess I left it on red.
I was gonna say that is definitively not purple. Amazing. Amazing.
Got this from Parsec Sabers, y'all. Y'all check them out.
Parsec sabers. There we go. All right.
It's a long color wheel.
Oh
There
yeah,
it is.
you can never find it when you're there. We go. That's like
I have no room to spin in here. My room is so
it's
small.
hard to know. That's always a struggle, right? I talk to people about that, and like I don't have a ton of room in any. I just shortened my lightsaber
I
blade,
said turn off.
which I thought was very useful
Yep.
for spinning. I thought that was like that improved so much. I bought like a very easy, just like tube cutter, very kind of cheap, easy to do. But that's like RGB or whatever sabers. You can't really do that with a NeoPixel, Xenopixel, whatever kind of stuff. So you got to watch what kind of blade or what kind of lightsaber you have. But like if you have a simple
Now,
basic
now
lightsaber,
spinning,
so easy.
spinning with neopixels is very possible though, because I can
Oh,
do it, and I have
definitely
some
possible.
mutuals that
Yeah.
do it too. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all about. I figured it out. I had to learn the hard way. It's about blade size. That's all it is.
Yeah. That's it.
You get the right
That's
blade
it.
size, you're good to go.
Know what you want before you go in, though, for sure. Because mine,
Exactly.
I took like 5 inches off the blade from Level Up Sabers, like 5 or 6 inches off their default kind of thing. Like I really shortened that thing, but it feels so much better now. Um,
Oh,
I found it's
if it
like I
feels
think it's
good,
like
then
as long as my arm or whatever. So like there's something like that. It's
I think
anyway.
Master Allen said
Uh,
measure from fingertip
that's
to
it.
armpit.
Yeah, it was something around there. So
There you go.
that kind of works. Yep. Um, what's what's your favorite affiliation? I'm gonna guess Jedi because it's in your name. But if you could hang out with a group for like a day, they were just like, hey, welcome to Star Wars. You get to hang out with the Jedi, the bounty hunter, Sith, general kind of
Prob-
rebels, the space pirates. Who do you want to hang with?
Since I still love lightsabers, I'd probably go Sith. I don't really. I
Okay.
mean, if okay, probably Sith, but also probably bounty hunters. That'd be kind of cool too.
All right. Interesting answer. Why I gotta ask, why Sith? Why are you going that way?
Well, there's lightsabers,
There's
and
a-
I can explore the Sith powers.
Oh, okay. So you're taking that back to the Jedi kind of, you want to dip into that power set.
But I wouldn't fully turn either.
I like it. Okay, all
Like
right.
Nomen
I
Carr
trust
from
you.
the Old Republic.
I trust that answer. All right,
Hmm.
that's pretty good. We've had some people on that are like 100% dark side. Let's go. Give me a black suit and a cape and a red lightsaber, and I'm ready to tear shit apart. So like that answer of like I want to check it out, and you're not quite as scary as those
I
people.
wouldn't use it for good.
Um,
I'm be honest.
all right. So I've got a new question we debuted on the last episode, and I want to ask you this. This is like the dumbest, stupidest, most hilarious thing that you can possibly think of. But since Star Wars is basically just constant suffering and tragedy wrapped in a candy coating of laser swords and amazing ponchos, if you were
Hmm.
in the Star Wars universe, what hilarious way would you die? Would it be looking into a lightsaber and accidentally turning it on?
Uh,
Would you fall into a
oh, you
trash
said, you know
compactor?
what? I had this question ready, but you said hilarious way. I don't know. I would want to death if I had to die though. I'd want to go out fighting like Deatha from the Bad
Okay.
Batch.
Yep.
She went out fighting. I don't want to be
Yep.
caught off guard like Ayla or Mondi.
Mm.
But hilarious way, I'm not sure. That look down the lightsaber shaft part is pretty funny.
That is there. You spin it the wrong way. You think you're holding it right, and you just right through the.
I should make a video on that.
I would watch that for sure. Not that I don't watch your other videos, but I'd get a kick out of that one. Yeah, I don't want people's like tragic real ways to die. There's enough tragedy in the world, but I think
Yeah.
hilarious ways. Like my wife instantly was like, "Oh yeah, I'd fall in a trash compactor. I'd be just walking around. I'd be like, what's down here?" Like my answer, because like real life probably could happen. Like I'm gonna see a wild animal in Star Wars and just be like, "Come here, Rancor. Come on, who's a good boy?" And I'm just gonna get killed and eaten by a rank or like some sort of like fire breathing dragon monster or something on some planet that I'm just,
Remember the
who's a
Nexu?
good boy? Come here. Yeah, like that's gonna happen. You can hear my wife laughing at me in the background because she knows that's like 100%. Like I'll see like a coyote or something, be like, "Oh my god, it's so cute," and she'd be like, "No, please don't." And that's my real life. So there we go. Um,
Wow. I guess
let's
looking down a lightsaber, since I've been talking about lightsabers.
all right. That's very fitting for the
Realistically, I probably
conversation.
wouldn't do that though. That's a Padawan move.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, for sure. Um, Maybe
Or
yeah,
stormtrooper
had
move.
a bit too many space beverages, and you
Yeah.
accidentally look down the lightsaber. Put your guard down, right? Maybe that's
Okay,
the
that could
explanation.
happen.
Cool. Okay, there we go. There we go. I
I
like it.
don't drink much though, but that could happen.
Yeah. So you mentioned Jedi Survivor, and that's kind of the only news that I had. Sorry, you mentioned Fallen Order, but that's the only news I had this week. Aside from like Mando launching the day that this podcast goes live, which is
Yeah.
I'm excited for, but I know you haven't really watched too much Mandalorian, right?
I haven't watched it yet. I will
Okay,
though, because everyone's talking about it, and I do need to catch up.
no,
I
it
watched
is
a
good.
little
It
bit
is
of it,
good.
but we stopped for some reason.
There is, I mean, if you're looking, there's not a ton of lightsaber stuff, but there is some very interesting lightsaber lore surrounding the dark saber. So if you want to see what happened to that after Rebels, Mandalorian's the way
Now
to
I
go.
watch a show. I watch a show even if
Okay.
there's no lightsabers.
All right.
I just love
Okay. All right.
lightsabers.
I, just,
I ain't got no problem with that.
all right, good enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. The bad,
that's a
bad,
super
bad.
interesting part to me, though. So, is the dark saber lore and how that kind of ties into the whole story. So, if that was your in, that's there. But I did want to say, Jedi Survivor. They've shown off a little bit more of the game. They've showed some gameplay. They've talked about it a little bit more. And one of the things I'm excited about is customization. Um,
Mm.
Making Cal kind of look the way you want him. There's apparently hairstyles. There's a lot more outfits. And really, that's kind of it. So there's not too much more than that. But I kind of want to check your hype level for Jedi Survivor. How are you feeling about the
Be
game?
honest with you, be honest with you. Would you believe I said I haven't even played Fallen Order?
Oh, really? And you're
No, I've
that good at
played.
the light, the like copying the stuff.
I
Jesus.
guess so. I've been called king of lightsaber mimicry. I just looked up
Holy
the moves on
crap.
YouTube and copied it. But I haven't. I mean, now I'm gonna be honest. I did buy it for my. I bought it for Steam, and I have it on my PC right here.
Wow,
But it's so
man.
old it just wouldn't play right. It's so laggy. So I technically could play it. I just can't. And yeah, I want to play Jedi Survivor, but I'd have to play that first. I bet. But I'm hyped
You
for it, to be
just
honest, because it looks
completely blew
awesome.
my mind, man. I can't believe,
Yeah, I've
like,
never
I
played it.
figured you had put so much time into that game that the moves were just ingrained in your head. You're like, uh, what, oh, man, what's, Taskmaster from the MCU? Like, you watch something and then you just copy the moves. Like, holy
That's kind
shit.
of how my brain works. I just watch it a few times and then I can do it perfectly.
Wow.
I
That's
haven't done it in a while
incredible.
though.
That is, you blew my mind. If you're not watching the
But
audio,
yeah, I am hyped
or
for it,
if
to
you're
be
not watching
honest.
the video,
I want to
that's
play it.
amazing, man.
Just the
Well,
other day, me and my
I'm
brother were watching a video on all the bad guys you'll encounter, and it was the battle droids, super battle droids. And I'm like, wow, they're making a comeback. That looks awesome.
yeah, and apparently dismemberment's more of a thing. Before you could, you could dismember some of the animals and stuff, but like not stormtroopers. And it was really weird when you like crack a stormtrooper with a lightsaber, and he's just like, "Ouch!" It's kind of like a glow in the dark baseball bat. But this
That's what
one,
that's what someone said too. Finally, a game where a lightsaber's a lightsaber and not a flashy baseball bat.
that's okay.
That's it.
Well, there
That's
you go.
facts.
I'm thinking in the same way. So that's not too bad. I'm very excited. The game launches in April, so we are super close to that one, and I can't
If I
wait.
get a new
I've played
PC
the
or a
first game.
PS4 or 5, I'll play it.
There we go. I've played the first game. I want to say like maybe 2.5, 3.5 times, something like that. Because I got to go back and finish what I started not that long ago. But like, it's a solid game.
Finish what
And
you
now I
started.
just play it on like story mode because I just want to like just experience that story again. Like the first time, because like it's tough. But like now I'm just like, oh, I just let me hit those beats again and like do the fun stuff. It's good. For
Hmm.
anyone listening to the audio, you just have to like just pause, go to YouTube, because like Moshe is just casually spinning a lightsaber like it's no big deal. That it's the most smooth, amazing thing that like I'm just completely thrown off and distracted by the just casual display of skill here. Um, Holy crap.
The thinner the
So
hilt,
just
the
just
easier it goes.
if you're and that's the one thing I don't like about the Galaxy's Edge Sabers, they are thick and it's like you can't
That's
do that kind of
that's partly
spinny
why they're not
dexterous
built for
stuff.
spinning. It's because they're so big.
Yeah. Yeah, they're cool for a display piece, but like yeah, 100% like get
It's cool for
something.
display and the experience of making a saber. But if you're
Yeah.
into
Oh yeah,
spinning,
the
you
experience
got to get
is
a base lift.
amazing. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, anyone just listening, this is one to pause this and just go watch on YouTube because that's some great stuff. So
Oh yeah,
let's get into the Bad Batch because we've got
oh
two
yeah,
episodes to
yeah.
cover. We'll kind of we never go into super deep dives, but these are two episodes. So we'll start with the crossing. And these are kind of related. So far, we've been kind of noticing that in most of the episodes go in like little 2 episode batches or arcs
Hmm.
kind of thing of like, the story will kind of continue on. And then the next time it'll be a completely different thing. And it seems to be the case with both of these. So first off in the crossing, Sid sends a Bad Batch to extract some Ipsium mineral from a mine. So highly valuable, but also highly explosive mineral Great.
Hmm.
Um,
That was when they were in the
so
cave, right?
they're in the cave.
Yes.
They're checking
Okay.
things out, and while they're in there, their ship gets stolen. So they are kind of forced to find another way to get to somewhere that maybe they can find another ship and do some stuff that way. So Omega goes
Yeah.
off. She's discovering an Ipsium vein. They're trying to harvest it. She and Tech get separated. Tech kind of like said something to piss her off and whatever, and she kind of goes off on her own. And you kind of see, like the other guy's kind of scolding Tech, and Tech's just he thinks differently, right? Like he has a
Right. Right.
different way that his mind works. He doesn't really understand nuances of communication and that kind of stuff. And I've really liked that in this season that we see the individuality of each of the clones and what they're teaching Omega directly, and also kind of what she's learning from them indirectly. And I think this episode was a lot of she's
Mm.
learning, we've seen her learn directly from Tech, of like Tech teaching her, here's some ship schematics, here's how to do this, here's how to be better than a droid, here's how to think outside the box. But this one, it was kind of Tech teaching her by really by pissing her off. It's kind of like
Pretty much.
that,
Yeah.
but by the end of it, it was kind of uh, coming together and realizing that there's not only different people in the galaxy, but different species and different, groups and factions, and you can get along and you can work with those, even if you don't always agree, even if you don't
Right.
always see the same way or see, and sometimes that can really help getting a different perspective from something or right off the bat. Sometimes it can drive you crazy, but if you can appreciate that and sit back and kind of accept it for what it is, you might get out of a sticky situation, which is what they kind of do. They all team up and they get out of this situation here, and they go track down a spaceport. So that's kind of this first episode. Um, let's just tie it right into episode 10. I think is the retrieval. Um, so they track down their ship. They realize it's still on the same planet. It was taken by a thief named Benny, and it was
Right.
taken
We just
to
watched that one.
the yeah. I just watched that one yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. They take it to the guy in charge. It's Mako or Moko. I can't remember I think it was Mako.
Take it.
Yeah. Um, and basically they're just going to tear the ship apart and sell it for scrap, which is crazy. But we found out that this guy is basically running a mining operation and using what seems mostly like kids and
Mostly.
exploiting these kids for his own gain. And you see these kids kind of fighting for scraps. They're hungry, they're tired, they're worn out, they're worked to the bone. And this dude's up in his ivory tower, just like gouging himself on food. He's
Hmm.
clearly taking control. It reminded me. I don't know if you've watched Batman the animated series from like the '90s, but it reminded me of the episode
I
called
might
The
have.
Underdwellers. So Underdwellers was kind of the same thing. There was this guy that took all like the uh, lost kids or whatever, and basically used them to like go out and do his dirty work, and then come back and give him all the spoils and the riches. So it very much reminded me of that. Um,
Hmm.
the Bad Batch goes through, they get the ship back, blah 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 blah, and the good guys kind of win in the end, and Mako's defeated. Um,
Yeah. I like that part.
Me too. So I wanna lead
Oh, jeez.
with you for this one. How did you feel about these two episodes overall?
Let me see. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Tech, with Omega, I can't really explain it honestly. I just watch him.
Fair enough. That's
Yeah.
I guess I'll start there, I guess, and if you want to add something, maybe you'll be inspired by what I say or something like that, or get an idea of somewhere to go.
Hmm.
But overall, for me, I really liked the crossing. I really liked that of they're stuck in this cave, they can't get out. they're infighting. They're down 2 men at this point with Crosshair and Echo
And
gone off their
Echo,
separate
yeah,
ways. They're they're kind of refinding their team, and then they just lost their home, right? Like the ship's been stolen. That's
yeah,
their
yeah.
house.
Camino.
They've you know, and,
Oh, you mean
and
the
yeah,
ship?
not
I thought
only
you meant Camino.
Camino, but also the ship, like both, like they've, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, so much, right? Like it's got, and that's a lot for a young person to take in. So you can understand Omega's position, and you can understand
frustration and
the
understanding of what's
frustration.
going on. She probably misses Gunji too.
That's, yeah, right. I mean, there's so
Hmm.
much there's so much change constantly. So I really liked that episode because I liked it as a character study. I liked it as the interpersonal relationships and that kind of stuff. I found Retrieval a little bit more, like I said, there was stuff to compare it to. And I love Batman the Animated Series, but when I've seen the Underdwellers or other shows kind of take this, like, you know, guy overlord takes advantage of the working class or whatever, and it's kids and blah blah blah. I found that one was a little bit more boring, I guess. Like, you kind
A
of know,
little
like
bit more, yeah.
the ship's on the same planet. They get the ship back. Not much, like the hyperdrive's disconnected, but otherwise it's fully repairable. Um, the bad guy's defeated at the end of it, and then everyone's kind of happy. And they do kind of tie it into everything else by saying, this is a smaller scale of what the Empire's doing for the full galaxy, right? And I found
Right.
that was fine, but for me it was a little bit more by the books than the rest of the stuff this season. I don't did you kind of feel the same way, or did you like
Yeah, because
Retrieval
he
more than I
mentioned
did?
like there's different. What was his name? There's different ones of those everywhere. Kind of like how there's a
Hmm.
war somewhere everywhere. But then he was
Yeah.
like, "Well, there's good guys too. They're out there like us,"
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
true.
true. And that's, I did, yeah, I forgot to mention that call out of saying, yeah, there's other teams like us. Right. So,
Right.
yeah, hinting at a rebellion, hinting at other soldiers. Yeah, I did kind of like that. Yeah, that was a good call out that I missed in my explanation. Thanks for bringing that
Hmm.
one back.
Hmm. See y'all. I
Um,
watched it.
yeah, there we go. So I don't know. Overall, I like I said, I thought Crossing was excellent, and Retrieval was still good. I still enjoyed it, but it was a little bit more predictable and a little bit more like, oh, just kind of good. It was good instead
Hmm.
of excellent, which I thought so far this season has been so excellent, in my opinion, that, and especially coming off a Gunji thing, like, you give me Gunji, I'm gonna be happy.
Oh yeah, but I was saying I love how in the Bad Batch, whatever episode it was with Gunji, can't remember,
Mhm.
but on Gunji they had Trandoshans appear, and if you play Star Wars: The Old Republic, you know that Trandoshans are the natural enemies to Wookiees, and I'm like, that's some Star Wars history.
Oh yeah,
Anyone else see it and they're
that
just
was
like
even,
Trandoshans? Well, yeah,
well.
probably not just the
So
Old
that
Republic, but
was
that's how I learned it.
no. Well, yeah, that's that.
That
I
too.
think the first real thing, but that's been in. That was a little bit touched on in the Book of Boba Fett, which a lot of people skipped. My brother, I was just telling him over the weekend, like, you should watch at least a few episodes of Book of Boba Fett, but like, it was touched on in that, because you see like Black Chrysanthemum just walk up
Hmm.
to a couple of Trandoshans, and it's just like, okay, they're not doing anything, they're just having their drink, just leave them alone. And he's just like, nah, and just like rips one of them their arms off, because it's like Trandoshans and Wookiees do not get along.
There you
So
go.
I did love that kind of that little dig as well. Um,
Kind of an
any
Easter
any
egg.
kind of little, yeah, Easter eggy kind of like character moments like that is so good. Um, any character moments from these two episodes stand out to you? I think I mentioned mine was like just the one-on-one time with Tech and Omega, for me, really stood out. Of that, especially kind of like after they go through like the waterfall and all that kind of stuff in the crossing, of like when they're down, and it's just kind of that one-on-one where they're trying to figure it out, and they, like, she's still pissed and he's still kind of like, well, this is how I am, so deal with it. And you see that kind of moment. um that I think was it for me. But what about you?
Well, what was his name? Who he took the ship. He was gonna
Oh,
sell it.
Benny.
Benny. I like how Ben. I
Benny.
mean, I like how innocent Omega is because she gives him the way she gives him his rations, but then he ends up
Yeah.
betraying her. But then he, of course, does the right thing, of course. But it's just like that moment right there. She's like forgiveness, because I don't know if I would have did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's her
She's
ration.
so good. She
She's
is so
good,
good,
right?
man. She's such a, yeah, has such a good heart.
Hmm.
She's just, yeah, she's getting the best from the Bad Batch, and she's the best of them. So
Oh yes.
it is amazing to see those little moments too of her just shining, of being like such a great person. Um, what where do you feel that they're going to go next? What do
How
you
many
like?
more
Where
episodes
do you
are there?
think?
Huh?
We're at 10. I think there's like 6 more episodes.
Okay, so I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if they're gonna continue to work for Sid because they are on the run, but they do need more money. A way
Mm.
to live and all that. Let's see. And then the episode with the well, not pod racing, but that racing, whatever it was.
But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that one of them characters said something about Sid, like she she'll betray you eventually. So that made me and my brother
I
like, hold up, will she betray us?
I wanted to ask you actually, like, there was a lot before we got the retrieval episode. There was a lot of like people talking of like Sid probably sent that kid who, we later found out was
Yeah,
Benny, but like, was like that Sid, because she was just kind of like, they called her, they were like, can you pick us up? We need help on this planet. And she was just like, I don't have time for that. You guys have done enough jobs. You bailed me out of this, but she doesn't have time to send a ship to bail them
right.
out. Like, I was very convinced watching people on TikTok and seeing people on Twitter and whatever else of like, oh yeah, she 100% double crossed them. She's like, they failed a couple of missions. Like, she sent this dude to like steal their ship. I could see that happening.
I
So
could
like,
too.
did you have any of those kind of like
I
inclinations
did
of
see
like,
the TikToks, but I didn't see the tweets or on Twitter yet. But yes, I think she could too. Because that guy who said it,
uh,
obviously he knows her longer, so he probably knows, hey, she'll betray you. Watch your back. We
yeah,
caught that. We're like, now we got our eyes on Sid every time she appears.
yep, yep. And Trandoshan, she finds out that they helped a Wookiee. They helped kill a bunch of Trandoshans on
Right.
Kashyyyk. Like, she's got reason. I don't trust her at all
Nah,
at this
trust
point.
nobody,
No,
especially at
no.
this point of the war. Mm-mm.
Yep. How are you feeling about this season compared to the first and compared to other animated
Oh,
stuff?
it's
Like, where's
amazing
this
because
sitting for you?
it's awesome. Being the fact that there's more action. We was all wondering it. We saw Gunji, he survived. You know, they're doing more than what they were doing in season one to me. The season one was mostly Camino, and it ends right there. This one is more. They're doing more stuff outside.
Yep.
And then when they blew
I
up
love the,
Camino,
yeah,
that was
planet
heartbreaking.
hopping.
Yeah,
Oh,
Planet Hop.
goodness. Yeah. Um,
And the
yeah, I
way
liked,
Palpatine took it and twisted it around into his own advantage, that he did this, but we're gonna. You know what? I always wonder when was the first time that Palpatine issued stormtroopers, because it was always clone troopers or 66. We think, okay, did they go homeless like the one on the Kenobi series? No, what happened to all of them? They was trying to get
yeah,
them their pension rights, because they was veterans in the war. They wanted their what's it called, retirement or whatever it's called. That's what they were working for. He shows
yeah,
proof. They showed proof of him blowing up Camino. Palpatine pulls up all ominously, hands like this,
yeah.
and we're just like, okay, how could he do this? But you're the one who probably ordered this, and somehow he said, "We're gonna make stormtroopers," and I'm just like, so that was it right there. This is where stormtroopers
Yep.
were born, and that was pretty chilling.
Oh man, that whole moment. I think I said it on this show. Like, Palpatine is playing chess, and it's not like anyone else is even playing chess. Like, everyone else in the galaxy is playing like snakes and ladders. Like, he is playing such a different game at a different level that he is just not even steps ahead. He is just leaps and bounds ahead
Leaps
of
ahead.
like
Yes,
any other like, he's so good.
he's
He's
too good.
I
If
mean,
he was a
He's terrible, but he's good at what he's doing.
He's real good. And he almost got
Yeah.
caught a few times, but he's real good.
Yeah.
Even those situations,
He's
he
got,
turned it around.
yeah,
Like when
he's
Fives
got those
discovered the chip,
contingencies of, yeah, it's wild. Do you hope we
real
get a
wild.
little bit more Palpatine, a little bit more of that side of things, or do you hope that it centers a
Kind
little
of
bit
like,
more just on the team.
I mean, the show is called The Bad Batch, so we're gonna see them regardless, obviously. So yes, I'd love to see more of Palpatine, more of Gunji, hopefully, more of anyone that we've seen in the prequels or the Clone Wars. Because seeing the droids be funny again was the best. They
Yeah.
always had a sense of humor.
Dream cameo for this season. We've got a few episodes left. Who that we haven't seen, who would you love to see
That
like
we haven't
just
seen.
dropped in somewhere?
I don't know. I've never thought about that. I don't know, honestly. Who would appear? Hopefully a Jedi.
I was just gonna say I'd love like someone like I think I said this again on a past show, but I'd love to see maybe they're the ones that got Cal Kestis to the Junker planet, because we know like Cal kind of hung out on a Junker planet for most of the time after Order 66. He hung low. He didn't have many adventures. He just kind of put his head down in the dirt and just kind of worked as a normal person. Didn't really show his Force side or anything until he really, really had to. And you experience that in the game, and it's years later. But how did he get to that planet? It'd be kind of cool if the Bad Batch kind of took him there. You had that little like young Cal Kestis, like, hey,
Oh, I
I
see.
heard you guys saved Gunji. Can you get me the hell to some like backwoods planet that I can just hide on? Like, it'd be kind of cool there. But I'd also love to see like an established Jedi, someone like Quinlan Voss, who we know survived thanks to the Kenobi
Yeah.
series.
Oh yeah,
Can we
he's
see
survived.
him just doing something, right? Like it'd be, yeah, I'd love to see some more Jedi stuff.
That'd be
I'm
cool.
with you there. Yeah.
That'd be real cool. And everyone's speculating that he's the one who's appearing in Mando.
Right. Yeah. The big speculation that he could be the one that saved Grogu, I think,
Right,
is
right.
or one of the key potentials of like that short list of like who could have gotten Grogu out, but then effed up somehow and let Grogu get captured by the Empire.
Right.
So someone did something great, and then someone effed up royally. So who are they gonna throw there? It's going to be interesting to see. I wonder if we're going to see that this season. It looks like we get some flashbacks in the trailers and stuff. So
Even flashbacks would be cool.
yeah. Oh, true. Like in the Bad Batch, that'd be neat. Very. All right. Awesome, man. Well, this has been a very fun conversation. I hope you had a great time as well.
I loved it. This was fun. Hope to do it again.
Good. Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And your brother as well. He's more than welcome. Tell him to drop me a message sometime. We'll get either him on or the both of you, get you back and you guys can
Let's
kind
do
of
him
both
next. Let's do
down
his
some
own
stuff.
next.
That's all right. All right. That sounds fun.
I'm sure he'd be
That's
down
awesome.
for it.
Well, tell people where they can find you and what to pay attention to that you're doing.
I'm on TikTok. I'm everywhere with the same username, TheDripJedi. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Follow me there, y'all. Oh yeah, I'm on YouTube. I got it back on my YouTube again. But that's
All
about
right.
it.
Excellent. Definitely go drop a follow. Like we've been talking this whole time and like talking about you spinning lightsabers. And like I mentioned in the show, like people should go watch it because you're just like casually flipping a lightsaber and stuff. But like the stuff that you do is wild. Like I don't think I emphasize that enough as a fan of your work, that like I watch your videos and I'm just like, I should just throw out my lightsabers because I'm not gonna do that. Like you are just so good. It's
Thank you.
wild.
I
So
appreciate that.
well, thank you for taking the time out because like I said, I'm just a fan to to begin with of your stuff, and I really hope people go check out your content, whether they're into lightsaber spinning and want to learn and they watch your stuff and they're like, I can try that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
because I have tutorials. I'm always down to help people.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if it's that kind of stuff, or just to go and watch a video and like me, just let your jaw drop and hit the floor and just be like, holy shit, this guy's on another level. Like
I have friends
it's
bigger
just,
than me though, so it's whatever.
well, okay. Like following wise, bigger than you, sure. But
I mean like in skill.
for real?
Y'all heard of Cold Gregorious Jedi? Kaizen Darkseid, Carly King, Leia.
Oh yeah. Carly's good. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're all
All
awesome.
right.
Okay, those last
Okay.
aren't mutuals of mine, but they're big fan. I'm big fans of them. One day though.
There's some people that can do some stuff like Michelle Smith, stunt
Yes,
woman.
I learned a
kind
few
of
moves
stuff.
from her. Of course, I call her the Grandmaster.
Yeah. There's some
It
good
takes
people out
yell at
there,
her,
but
she's
like,
yelling,
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like there, but like
what's until Sean?
you are up there, my friend. Like you are highly skilled and highly entertaining to watch, and a positive force in the Star Wars community. So thank you for joining me, and I
Thank you for having
truly
me.
hope that everyone listening goes and follows your stuff. And the links are going to be in the show notes. So if you didn't catch the Drip Jedi as the username, just click those links and go give them a follow. So thanks everyone for listening. Charlie's not here, so I'm just going to say follow us. Secret Friends Unite at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Follow me at @the_Canardian on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And if you're on Hive, just Canardian. I know there's a few Star Wars people still bopping around on Hive.
Oh, people still use
Even though
Hive. I had to get rid of mine.
It's been a little dwindling, but I'm still there.
Okay.
But yes, thank you for listening. May the Force be with you. Rex,
and with you.
Rex, play us out. This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow @SecretFriendsU on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.